Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Richard and this is a Skoda Enyaq iv80. Quite a nice spec one as well. Now the owner of this car has very kindly let me use it for a couple of days, so I'm going to do exactly that, put it to some real world family tests and experiments. Get to know the car rather well, and then I can give you an informed review, plus tell you what kind of efficiency I get and exactly how much one of these would cost to run. So there we have it. Let's have a quick look around it and I'll tell you exactly what the specification of this model is. So I've got the spec sheet here. This is an Enyaq iv80. This isn't the four-wheel drive one, this is the rear wheel drive with 77 kilowatt hours of usable battery, the bigger battery of the two. The owner of this car for me didn't get the Sportline model because he wanted to have the leather seats, more practical for the children. So quite agree with that. This car, as new, was £49,260. Now I know the iv80 starts at about £43,000 I think, but it does have a few extras. So let me just quickly whiz through those with you. We've got quartz grey metallic paint, 19-inch alloy wheels on this, although they were standard. The design suite, £1,300 on that. It's got the 125 kilowatt DC battery charging, although I've heard some rumours that with the latest V3 software update, which this car does have, that not only improves things like efficiency, but actually people have reported higher charging speeds. Maybe I get a chance to test that. And then I've got a few other things here. So I've got Comfort Seat Package Plus. Ooh, massage driver seat, yes please, £880, and the powered passenger seat is part of that. We've got the Climate Package Plus, Convenience Package Plus, £1,200, so that's things like electronically operated boot with virtual pedal, wireless charging, privacy glass, driver alert. I've got the Transport Package, which is a rear seat backrest release, so I think that's where you can fold the seats from the boot, and a variable boot floor. I've got the Light and View Package Basic, £1,115. That gives you these excellent full LED matrix headlights. It doesn't have that kind of light up grille at the front here. And then we've got the Drive Sport Package with 3-spoke leather heated sports multifunction steering wheel. Assisted driving package, £915, adaptive cruise control, blind spot detection, lane assist plus. And then I've got the Parking Package Plus, which gives you the area view camera, so 360 camera. Then I've got the Infotainment Package Plus, which includes head-up display, satellite navigation system, although I think they all have the sat-nav system, but anyway. And then we've got the panoramic sunroof up here, £815 that was. It's got an extended warranty until it's 4 years old at 80,000 miles, £300 extra for that. Shame we're not seeing longer standard warranties, MG, you know, longer. But anyway, so all that takes this car up to a mighty £49,260. So what does a £50,000 Skoda get you? Well, I'm about to find out. It's a shame it doesn't have any front storage space. Something like a Tesla Model Y has got a really nice, deep, practical front area, which is great for things like muddy wellies after a walk rather than putting them in the boot. Alas, nothing in any of the Enyaqs. But it's a nice, smart car, isn't it? I do like the design. I think it's a little bit conservative. I'd like to be something a little bit bolder, and because it's got this black grille, it does look a bit like, I guess, any other car. It could be, to the untrained eye, any other petrol or diesel. So that's the only criticism I really have, is that it's a bit conservative, but it's very smart and it's very well made. I mean, the fit, finish and paint is excellent. It looks great. Let's have a quick look on the inside. So yes, on the inside, the Enyaq is one of my favorite places to be. Again, my only criticism really is a bit conservative, looks kind of like it could be almost anything else, but it is dominated by this nice, large, colourful display here, bigger than I had in previous ID4s, which this car does share a platform with. This one's got head-up display, just lovely fit and finish, lovely details. I even like the design of the interior door handle releases. We've got nice little bits on the air vents here, which give a quality feel. Same for the steering wheel, these kind of knurled knobs here for adjusting your volume and such like. No haptic buttons, brilliant. But the quality, fit and finish of these seats and the interior here, it's hard to deny. It's a lovely place to be. Bit of storage down here with one phone charger, and then I've got the underneath storage here, which is a little bit awkward to get to. Hang on a minute. A McDonald's straw. That's not mine. Not yet, anyway. So yeah, I do love the inside of an Enyaq. Just a lovely place to be. Some nice ambient lighting around as well. Real good quality feel. And I'm looking forward to trying this massage seat out. Ooh, yeah. In the back, tons of space, very comfortable. Again, I can put this to the test tomorrow actually with the passengers in the car. We've done some comparisons with the Enyaq compared to, for example, Tesla Model Y and a Hyundai Ioniq 5. So if you want to see more detail and comparisons, check out our other videos and you'll see just that. But in the back, lovely and comfortable, climate control, heated seats, leather seats. We've got ski flap. I'm not going skiing though. Couple of Isofix, and there's also Isofix in the front, by the way. So again, one of the few cars with 3 Isofix in it. It's very nice, very practical, very comfortable, as you'd expect. The boot of the Skoda has a lovely amount of space. It is huge. It's not as many litres as a Tesla Model Y, but a Tesla Model Y includes the underfloor storage. Now this does have some underfloor storage here. There's a few little pockets under there, but in terms of just the boot, I think this is probably actually bigger. It's really deep as well. So I think for anyone with dogs, for example, this is probably one of the key contenders because it's not as sloped as a Model Y Tesla, and it's just tall as well. So if you've got a dog, it should be good in here. And then this is the option for the folding seats. Drops them down, not quite flat through, but close. And I think I can actually move this boot floor to then make it flat. Let's have a quick look. I can make that sort of flat like that, like that. Like that. There you go. So then you can push things through to the front. So that's kind of a nice idea. And you've also got these funny little boot dividers here in case you don't want things to move around. So I can stick that to the floor and stop that sliding around in the back. There we go. There's a few convenient tie downs and bag hooks here as well. And I've just spotted a 12-volt socket there. And I'm worried that in a previous video I said it didn't have a 12-volt socket, but it does. There it is. Maybe I didn't, maybe this is a pointless comment. It does have a 12-volt socket, it's definitely there. So there we are, quick preview. It's a smart car, isn't it? So yes, I'm going to drive this for a couple of days now. It gives me a chance to get to know it a little bit better. I have driven the ID4 a bit before, which it shares the platform with, but I've not spent too much time in an Enyaq itself. And I'm going to do some typical family duties. So that'll start tonight with my commute home. I'll do the school run in the morning, commute to the office. And I've got some relatives of mine to take for a hospital appointment tomorrow as well. So I'm allowed to use this. Thank you to the owner, Jai, for letting me use his car for a couple of days. And then I can give an informed opinion on what I really think of it, how much I like it, and also what the running costs. You know, electricity's gone up these days, so exactly what efficiency will I get for such real-world duties, and how much will that cost to run? Well, I'll give you updates on that later in the video. Okay, that's it for the day. I'm off home. It's only getting dark already. Give me a chance to try those headlights. So getting to drive the car for a couple of days in real world is always a really good way to also find those things that you don't like. It seems a nice high-spec car, though you do have to take a few options to get that, but it is lovely. Let's see what I really think of it. So as I drive this home now, it gives me a chance to really get to know the car a little bit better. I'm appreciating the ambient lighting in here. The screen is large and colourful. It's nice and quiet and refined. Head-up display is good with some augmented overlays. And just as I come onto some dual carriageway, I can put my foot down. Now, it's not as quick as some of the Teslas I might be used to. This is the rear-wheel drive version, not the four-wheel drive. But it is smooth, effortless performance, quicker than it feels actually. So it certainly picks up any traffic. And it's quicker than a lot of stuff, and certainly for a car this size. It just feels really good and premium in here. The quality of the materials and the lighting and the fit and finish, it's all just lovely. So yes, this is a £50,000 car. It does take a few option boxes to bring it up to the specification. But for £50,000, I've also driven Audi Q5, for example. And this is just so much nicer than that. Sorry to anyone with an Audi Q5. I had a loan car from Porsche, actually it was. Gave me a Q5, there was a Porsche Taycan in. And that's also a £50,000 car. So there's a lot of criticisms where people say, but electric cars are very expensive, and they are. But then a lot of cars of this type of size, SUV type especially, they are usually about £50,000. Look at a diesel or petrol Audi Q5, is the one I'm comparing to. And this just feels nicer. So far so good. I'm losing the light now, so I'll pick this up tomorrow. I'm doing a school run, possibly a bit of logistics with some of the staff, so we get some people in the back of the car as well and see exactly what we think of it then. But first impressions here, lovely, lovely, lovely.
I can't even reach the door. It's so far away.
How is it in the back?
It's good. It's not good. What?
Oh, that's not good. It's a massive car.
No, there's no space here. Like, there's literally no space.
Is that narrow?
Yeah,
Alright, Sophia, swap with one of the boys.
No, it's survive, but overall, it's.
I thought there'd be tons of space in the back.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to swap. It literally just got comfortable.
Like, men's spreading there, so.
yeah, but my shoulder, I can't say.
Yeah, I mean,
Does my lunch thing
I'm
fit
saying,
under
look,
here?
this is how it will be if your shoulders will be. Enough space for you? You said enough space for you.
What? There's a space under
See,
there.
actually, like, my lunch thing doesn't fit in the middle anywhere, so in a Hyundai it would fit. I just look after that somewhere by your feet.
There's more
actually.
space in Model Y.
You
More
think?
space than Enyaq.
Well, in the front, Sophia, what do you think of this car?
Oh, it's actually very comfortable.
Oh, you're really good, are you? You can stretch out, you've got the heated seat and everything. Oh, my seat's getting a bit warm now. It's nice inside, isn't it? The ambient light is nice and all that. It's quiet.
Wait, it's
These are probably the
Thomas's
nicest
from
handles
Victoria.
I've seen.
Well, when you ask Mark.
Yeah, but Mark thinks his handles are too pointy.
Oh.
And when you get out the car, you could catch your clothing that could pull you backwards. Honestly, Mark can find fault with anything. So this car doesn't get you a vote in the back, does it, boys?
Nope.
2 adults good, 3 adults absolutely no. You're struggling.
Like, I'm sitting up front because I can't even go back. There's just not enough space.
And you said it's quite upright as well.
And upright. And like, 5 centimeters taller person than me.
Like,
Probably just switch it up.
Do you know one thing I notice in this now is because we're behind this van in front, it's a bit smelly. And I always notice the Model Y filters out all the smells really well, doesn't it? Because it's got that extra filter. And I always notice not in a Model Y with the extra filter that things smell. Have you noticed that?
I didn't know the petrol smell before, but my car doesn't have filter itself, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, you've got convertible, so you're smelling everything. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that's our bad boy there. Oh, silver.
yeah.
Right, picking up a couple of Teslas. We'll see you in a bit then, boys.
Yeah.
You're in the back like a manoeuvre.
Yeah.
You're going to stay in the back. So it's obviously comfortable enough in the back for one then, or two.
1, 2, 2, 1, fine. 3 is just not gonna work.
Igor grabs the. Oh, look at the lowered Model S there. It looks pretty cool like that. Oh, it's actually on bricks at the back as well. It's actually slammed all over. Or collapsed air suspension, but anyway. Our relatives now. Does this one to be a bit more easy to get in and out of than that other car?
Oh right, you said that, didn't you, at the
I
time?
had a Porsche last time.
Because it was quite low, wasn't
It
it?
was, yeah. You should find this one. I've got a better car for you today.
I think he's making you think out be good then.
Yeah, far more practical.
Yes, all
All
right,
right.
it is good.
Is that much easier, yeah?
Yeah, much easier.
No, yeah.
It is a bit blowy today.
Well, I came out and my food bin was over here.
Took off, yeah. It was quite windy in the night as well. Do you want me to take the stick? Yeah. Shall I put the stick in with you?
Yes, that's right.
You got to find the seat belt.
Yeah.
There you go. So I'm filming at the moment just how practical this car is. What do you think so far?
Very good.
Easy to get in and out of, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than that Porsche. There we go. Right. Off to the appointment. Okay, so I've just stopped off for a quick charge now, but I'm going to run through some figures on efficiency and running costs. After driving this car for the last 24 hours on my normal daily duties, which has included a commute home, school run, taking work colleagues to pick up cars, and then taking my relatives over to an eye hospital appointment. So really town driving, stuck in traffic, I've averaged 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour, and that's consistent with the long-term average this car was showing when I got into it over the last 600 miles was also the same. So let's work out some running costs per mile, and I'll do some comparisons with petrol as well. So that 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour, if you've got like a cheap overnight tariff at home, that would cost you about 1.9 pence per mile. But in reality, a lot of people have just a standard current capped energy tariff at 34 pence per kilowatt hour. This would cost 9.4 pence per mile. If this was a petrol car, and I've just passed the petrol station down the road there, that was £1.66.9 per litre. So from my calculations, works out that if you were driving a petrol combustion version of a car like this, or maybe the Skoda Enyaq, you would need to do about 90 miles per gallon to equal the same running costs as this. Now, I've stopped here because this is a retail park here. It might be indicative of somewhere where you might just top up your charge. Normally you charge at home and not need it, but maybe you do rely on public charging, or maybe you're going to top up whilst you're doing some shopping for half an hour, an hour. Now, this is only a 50 kilowatt charger, so it's not particularly fast, and this car can charge at 125 kilowatts. Some say allegedly a little bit more than that, so it can charge more than double the speeds. That's what you'd really want to use if you were doing a very long journey, a quick half an hour top up, back up to 80%. But what can I add based on the efficiency of this car and this charger here? Now, this is actually an Osprey charger, and if you don't have a membership card, they can be rather expensive. Some of these are, I think, now 99 pence a kilowatt hour, which is very high. But with the Skoda Pass, I get 31 pence per kilowatt hour, so it's then a lot cheaper. Now, this car, based on its efficiency overall, so at 31 pence actually is cheaper than some of the home rates, by the way. 8.6 pence per mile then would be the running cost of that. If you're paying the full tariff on public charger, then you're pretty much, you need about a 40-45 miles per gallon car, and you're about even. So if you are reliant on public charging only, then running a petrol or diesel per mile, you could argue, is similar sort of cost if you've got a fairly efficient car. I'll grant that, but you've got to remember, most of the time you've got a cheap membership card or you're charging on cheaper rates at home. And you probably barely even use public chargers if you don't do a lot of long journeys, remember. So I've worked out the total range of this car that's capable based on that efficiency. Remember, just town driving. What would a car really do, a combustion car, around town and commuting and traffic jams? Well, this would give this a real world range of 277 miles based on this efficiency. We've got about 77 kilowatt hours of battery capacity usable. It's a pretty big battery in this car. So you've got, let's say, 280 miles of real world range. Sometimes you see the efficiency just drop a little bit higher speeds on the motorway, but I've done tests before with the VW ID4, which has got previous software versions. Again, enhancements with software updates help with efficiency, but I could easily find that they would cover well over 250 miles. And even then, just on town driving, cold starts, 280 miles of range between your charges. So that's pretty good, isn't it? What would a full charge cost at home? Well, on that 34 pence, the highest tariff in domestic energy at the moment, that would cost you about £26. So there you go. On a 50 kilowatt charger like this, remember, not the fastest, a 30-minute charge is going to cost you about £7.75 and add about 92 miles of range. Go shopping for an hour, double that, 180 odd miles of range for about £15. So you can see there, in most circumstances, the electric cars are still cheaper, even at the current energy prices. Of course, these prices will all change. Petrol, diesel goes up and down, energy prices go up and down. But it's still obviously quite a lot cheaper, and you've got the convenience of potentially even getting cheaper charge whilst you're doing some shopping. That's that for running costs. So I'm going to run through there. What's it been like to live with? Yeah, very good. I mean, it does what it says on the tin. It's a practical family EV, and I think with this one just adds a touch of luxury. We've got the nice leather seats, and you've got even a massage seat here. The head-up display is good. The augmented kind of overlays have been good. The big screen here has been good. The software, no problems at all. I haven't paired up with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, but it has all that wireless. It's just a very pleasant car to drive, very comfortable. My relatives found it easy to get in and out of, so that was important for them. Last time I picked them up in a Porsche Taycan, that's a bit low down. What we did find, that was a bit of a surprise, that actually for 3 adults across the back, that was a little bit tight. We think there's more space actually for width in something like the Hyundai Enyaq 5 or the Tesla Model Y. Legroom, not an issue. 4 adults, not an issue. 3 children wouldn't be an issue, but with 3 fully grown men, it was a little bit tight in the rear. So that was a bit surprising. I thought that would be easy for them there. But it's just a very pleasant and very reasonable car to drive all round. I like having paddles for adjusting the regen, but I'd like to see some more adjustment, and I'd like to see it go to a full one pedal mode. I couldn't seem to find a complete one pedal mode, even with the different versions of it. So for example, again with the Tesla and the Hyundai Enyaq 5, you've got the ability to just kind of not even use the brakes. It just stops off lifting off the accelerator and then just go again. This would only really do that if actually you engage the cruise control, and it would actually just keep the distance to the car in front. So that's actually quite good in a traffic jam. It just drives itself along. I did find it a little bit irritating with the lane assist. Again, this is a common thing, not just a Skoda. A lot of cars default to having the lane assist function on. So if you get down some country roads or even some town roads where you've got to cross the white lines, the car doesn't like that. It beeps, it flashes in the head-up display, can even pull the steering to try and keep it in the lane. Very easy to override it, but it will always default to on. In the Tesla, you can just turn that off, so it's never on unless you're on autopilot, so that's good. In the Hyundai Enyaq 5, it always defaults to on, but there's a button on the steering wheel to just quickly disable it. I haven't found such a quick method. You do have to come onto the screen here, push a couple of buttons to disable the lane keeping or lane assist. But if you're actually going down a country road, and that's a bit fiddly to do, so that's a bit irritating. other than that, it's been quite pleasant. Again, cup holders in front of the phone holder, so if you've got a couple of things like this in here, you're kind of having to remove them to get my phone. And of a taller flask like this, also this obstructs some of the shortcut buttons down here. I like having those shortcut buttons, but this is in the way. I was removing this to have a look for the buttons and then putting it back in. But as a practical, functional family car with a touch of luxury, the Skoda Enyaq's been a very pleasant car to live with. So if you've got these in order, I think you'll be very pleased with it. I know there's been some long wait times, people have been waiting a while for them. I think you'll be really pleased. It does exactly what it's meant to do in the tin, and the boot space is massive as well. It's just a very pleasant car. If you're a company car driver, whilst we talk about running costs, if you're a company car driver, it still makes a lot of sense to run your company car as an electric vehicle. The benefit in kind tax is still very low, and you pay a fraction of the benefit in kind tax as you would for a combustion diesel, you know, BMW, Skoda Kodiaq, Audi Q5, whatever equivalents might be. You do need to, if you want this kind of level of luxury, add a few touches and extras. If you like your sunroof, at least you can get that in this, which you can't get in the Tesla. The boot space is squarer than a Tesla. It's a bit nicer design, I think, in here than the Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's nicer, I think, inside here than the ID4. Although personally I prefer the ID4 exterior looks. I think it's a bit conservative, but it's very smart and very neat, and it feels very kind of professional. But yeah, that's it. I think that's given a reasonable overview and opinion for the Skoda here. So should we wrap up the video now? And I'll say it's a big thumbs up. It's a very brilliant practical family car. Add a few extras, doesn't get too cheap, but you've got to consider the other review we did on just the iv80, the smaller battery, a more basic trim. That was just over £40,000. Again, for this kind of SUV style car, something like the VWs and again Audi Q5s will cost that kind of money as well, so not dissimilar price parity. That would do for most people. That's still got a sensible range for your daily kind of family needs, but if you're doing lots of longer driving, the range of this is really equal to that of the Model Y. Not quite as efficient as the Model Y, but the slightly bigger usable battery. In real world terms, it brings it out to very similar numbers, so it suits that. I did miss the performance a little bit of the Tesla. This is, I mean, it's 0 to 60 in 8 point something seconds, this car. It's not exactly slow, and it's certainly, you've got the torque of the electric motor. It keeps up with everything, but you don't have that punch like you get with the Tesla, for example, or even the dual motor Ioniq 5s or the EV6s. So, but again, for most people, performance is more than plenty enough, and certainly as quick as any kind of 2-litre diesel out there these days. So anyway, I think I'll stop talking for now. I hope that's been useful. It's been really interesting to live with the car, and I do think it's brilliant. So I'll call it wraps for now. Hopefully see you on the next video. Hey everyone, thanks for watching our videos. If you like our content and want to see more, don't forget to not only subscribe, but also hit the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any new videos as they're uploaded. Plus, we're also on Instagram. Just look up R Simons or RSEV. We're on Facebook and Twitter. So lots of news, stories and things as we go on each one of those channels.